He took the walk from the rear entrance of the main building. Past the Bentleys, the 4x4s and the personalised number plates. Then through the double doors of the Jimmy Murphy Center, up the stairs overlooking the first-team training pitch, and onto the top level. Past the Young Player of the Year plaque celebrating Angel Gomez on the right, and the mannequins fitted with Adidas kits on the left. There was a cheerful chirp from the corridor. Hello was the first word from the waspish Mediterranean vocals. Then another. And then another. Jose Mourinho was clean-shaven, breezy and smiling as he approached his chair. It was difficult to recall a warmer entrance since he first addressed the media in the Jimmy Murphy Center at Carrington 19 months ago. "I'm alive. I'm here," Mourinho sardonically said. "How good is it to be here and to be alive?" asked Sky Sports News' upbeat James Cooper. Then the tone changed. "I'm always here," Mourinho replied ominously. And so began the narrative shift. There was more chance of Russian regret than a Mourinho apology as he approached his other chair. The chair comment on Tuesday had enraged some United supporters more than the limp Sevilla defeat, but before Mourinho had nestled into his seat he had already decided on his strategy. Mourinho initially fielded a few innocuous questions on his mood since Tuesday, whether he had witnessed a reaction from the players and the importance of Brighton. It was the freelance MUTV presenter Mandy Henry who changed tact by referring to those disgruntled supporters. Jose, "I've spoken to a few supporters this week that said they were a bit disappointed with the performance levels against Sevilla. What would you say to those fans?" As Mourinho began his sermon, a couple of reporters peered over the table and noticed he was consulting a sheet of paper. Almost 4 years to the day since David Moyes dubbed Liverpool favourites for a trip to the Old Trafford, another unique United press conference was about to escalate. "I try to translate from my Portuguese, which is almost perfect, to my English, which is far from perfect," Mourinho promised. Football heritage. And what a manager inherits is something like the last time Manchester United were in the Champions League final, which didn't happen a lot of times, was in 2011. Since 2011, 2012, out in the group phase, the group was almost the same group we had this season. Benfica, Basel, and Galati from Romania. Out in the group phase. In 2013, out at Old Trafford in the last 16, I was on the other bench. In 2014, out in the quarter-finals, and so on. It evoked memories of Steve Coogan's pool advisor on the day-to-day. This was an overdue reality check for the United supporters who had specifically booed Mourinho on Tuesday night as he approached the Stretford End tunnel, and the Warriors who had worn out the lettering on their keyboards. Sir Alex Ferguson suffered group stage ejections 3 times, Moyes had Olympiacos and Louis van Gaal Midtjylland. Mourinho's Sevilla. His most salient observation was on the squad he inherited. Do you know how many of United players that left the club last season? See where they play, when they play, how they play, if they play, he proclaimed. Memphis Depay, Morgan Schneiderlin and Bastian Schweinsteiger were signed in Van Gaal's last summer and sold last year. Adnan Januzaj received the number 11 shirt under Van Gaal's watch, and Wayne Rooney was appointed captain. Neither vindicated their billing and departed in the summer. It was the rejects reference which should reassure United supporters. Mourinho has hitherto been reluctant to jettison players, but that gentle approach has backfired, and the ruthlessness is imminent. See where, when, how and if Marouane Fellaini, Matteo Darmian, Daily Blind and the like playing next season. The embargoed section segued seamlessly from the 12.5-minute homily in the open briefing. Mourinho's press officer attempted to wrap up his interrogation by the Daily journalists after the fourth question. Okay guys, we're finished now. But the Portuguese stuck around for nearly 6 more minutes. Can you tell me, what's the difference between being out of the Champions League in last 16 or quarterfinals? In terms of the process, what's the difference? Mourinho demanded. That is when he became as loud and animated as Giovanni Trapattoni. There's a big difference to going out to a Barcelona or a Real Madrid and to a Sevilla. You went out to a side with a -6 goal difference, stressed a reporter. We went out to a side that's more successful than Manchester United in the last 7 years in Europe, Mourinho stressed. We went out to a side that has a huge tradition in knockout competitions, a side in the Spanish Cup final. We're out to a team that knocked out Atletico Madrid in 2 legs. United supporters had heard what they did not want to hear, and now it was the players' turn. Do you think they didn't have any players who could play in my team? I cannot name them. If I name them, their agents will jump with happiness and they will say, tag, price, this and that. I and Sevilla, there are many players who would play in my team. It seemed that was a wrap, but a reporter persisted and Mourinho responded as he passed the biscuits and the coffee machine to approach the exit. The players have to learn how to cope with that level of expectation and that level of pressure. They have to survive, and when they survive they become stronger. An easy life, and the fans not upset, and no critics, that's not good. If you want to make a real top team with top mentality, you need to grow up, and the best way is to have this kind of feeling.